What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Run Pure Sports Morning Show. I am Mangone. I'm here by myself today, but I'm excited to be here, excited to talk about a little bit of NBA. It's a different kind of slate, and I shouldn't say it's a different kind of slate. It's different than we normally see because we get the Wednesday going into the Friday slate where it's the same exact game. So if you guys could fire questions in the chat, I think it's a really interesting slate to talk about. We have a pretty good one, like I said, because we get the same exact slate over again. There's going to be a lot of game theory that goes on, people playing the same guys. And I'm going to do a little bit of screen sharing through SaberSim as well. So definitely wouldn't mind you guys throwing in questions. If you have any, questions basically about SaberSim, how to, use an optimizer, how I use it, I'm going to show you process-wise what I did on Wednesday, because it's, again, like the same exact slate, and then things that I'm going to go through this slate and talk about it. So, if you guys could, please hit that like, subscribe to the channel. Helps us out a ton. We would really, really appreciate it over here at Run Pure Sports. Before we dive in and talk about a lot of other stuff, let's go through the calendar. What we're doing this week. This weekend, because we got a lot of stuff coming up. Typically, we have the MMA show on Fridays. You're not getting the MMA show on Friday till you're getting it Saturday, because for the big main events, the big cards, you get them on Saturday morning. So that'll be then. Saturday morning, you get the MMA show. I believe we'll have an NBA slate from JSU and Big T. There's a 2-gamer. I believe they will do a show early in the morning for you guys, depending on what time the games are at. If they're later, maybe they'll do it a little bit later. Saturday, 9 o'clock, we'll have the round 4 showdown for the golf. I'm sure you guys are all sweating at the cut right now and all the golf winners, so be sure to check that out. I didn't mention Friday, so let me do that now. We got the morning show right now. You got to be here for that, obviously. Stick around. You're going to have a good time. Swing for the Fences, 4:45. If you subscribe to the channel, you'll get notified when it goes live, so you don't miss out on that. Then we got the Final Countdown show, premium, talking NBA, talking this slate. And then you get the PGA Showdown Round 3 stuff. And then this Sunday is Mother's Day, so because it's Mother's Day, feel free to send some flowers to your mother. If your wife is a mother, we play DFS all the time. We're a hassle. So you know what you need to do? Make sure that she's all set up, and then come hang out with us, grab the winners real quick, and then make sure that she's all taken care of the rest of the day. So 10 a.m. Hardwood show, 11 a.m. Swing for the Fences, and then 1 p.m. is the NASCAR show. And in between that, if you're still have the time to hang around on the bet side over at the Run Pure Bets YouTube channel, I believe Holden will be there with JJ and Joey Work. They'll be going through bets at 12 p.m. So if you watch that Swing for the Fences show, just head on over to the Run Pure Bets channel after to check that out. All right, so we're going to dive in and we're going to now talk about this. I'm going to do the screen share, so just be patient with me for a second while I get this all set up. But let's see. Cool. You guys should be seeing it on your end. If you're not seeing it, please let me know. If you need me to zoom it in more, please let me know. That's definitely going to help me out if it's not. So just want to make sure it's all set up well for you guys before we kind of dive in. So let me know in the chat, and then I'll kind of get moving along with this. Setting it all up real quick. All right, Travis is in the chat, which he said he's getting dialed in, ready to go. He's going to hit the bong. So, we're going to talk about this. We're going to get it. Landon's in there, says hit the like. So, yeah, please, guys, hit that like. You should see it up on my screen now, though. We got SaberSim up. And I'm on the Wednesday slate right now. I think did I move it over? No, I have to move it back over. So, when you're in SaberSim, all you got to do is click the date, move over. I ran stuff, this morning to make sure for Wednesday to put it in there. So, typically when you – and it's not showing up right now, but it's because I'm zoomed in so much. It should be fine. Yeah, you said everything looks good on your end. If I can zoom out a little bit, let me know. For some reason, I hate when it's really zoomed in, but I know Simon says it looks better on your guys' end. So if I can zoom it out, just let me know in the chat. But I'm going to keep looking at this now. So I'm pulling up. This is just when you run the optimizer literally by itself. You don't change anything. So just because it says cash on SaberSim, this is where when you go to this tool and you click it, Cash literally just runs it where there's like nothing changing with it. There's all these different settings you can do in SaberSim, right? There's GPP, multiplier, satellite, all these different options that you can go to. You pick the amount of lineups you want to run, min salary, the pool, and you just run it all. This is just, I did the cash one just because, again, this gives you like the best team, like based on the projections, whatever it's showing that way. You can also sort in a lot of different ways. So yeah, I'm going to zoom it out a little bit though, just so it's a little easier on me. If it's not good now, let me know, but it should be fine. Let's see. So number one team that pops up, and I believe this is sorting by Saber score. I don't know if it's sorting by actual projected fantasy, but you can always change that up too, right? Yeah, up at the top. So I'm going to start by projected score, see if that's number one. But we got Luka, Struss, Danny Green, PJ Tucker, Bam Adebayo, Devin Booker, Jay Crowder, and Maxie Cleaver. So this was for the last slate. Again, totally different slate. Now, you could say that not much has obviously changed from these two. One thing that I did last slate that I made sure not to do, and if you look in the optimizer, let's see, how much did Harden pop up? So Harden popped up on, let's see, what's the percentage? He popped up on 20% of the teams. I X'd Harden out. So if you're running through stuff in Saber, like right now, I don't like Harden's matchup. My issue with Harden, and if you look too, the numbers over the past 2 games, and I should pull it up. I want to give you the exact quote because Mike Gallagher tweeted it out. I'll give him, I obviously want to mention where I found it. So I thought he brought a really good stat point, and I didn't like Harden the first 2 games. I don't like him now. So in the Toronto series, James Harden, this is the time of possession with the ball for the Philly-led guards. James Harden, 8.3 minutes, Maxie, 5.3 minutes. James Harden, 6.2 minutes, Maxie, 4.5. That was in game 1 versus Miami. So I don't know if you guys remember seeing, but Maxie is not happy with James Harden. And James Harden, 7.2 minutes in game 2, Maxie, 7.7. Now, will Maxie lead in minutes again? I don't know that, but I do think it's going to be more of a split. And for that reason, I'm not going to play James Harden likely today unless the price has dropped insane. Maybe it has. Again, I haven't looked at that too much. I'm going to do like a run for you guys in a little bit. But I X'd him out lastly. This was something that I made sure to do when I did my teams. And again, my teams, I didn't do well on Wednesday. But process-wise, I look for guys that I want to like X out. Guys that I just want to get rid of from my teams. That way, I still get a unique team, but I'm like not too far off of the optimizer or like, getting some of the best plays. So next, I always look at the top, but I try to say, what gets me unique? So who's another guy that I could get off of? I didn't really like Maxie Cleaver. I did think the game was going to go small. I did think there's a chance that Maxie, he's not going to shoot as well from 3 probably again, but he didn't get a lot of rebounds last game, which him not getting a lot of rebounds, well, that's something that could easily go in his favor. And I thought 4K, it's a good tag, but I felt like they might go Dorian Finney-Smith more at the 5 at times. It definitely made a lot of sense for them to go that route and like get Spencer Dinwiddie in there. At this point, I think the only way the Dallas Mavericks can win this series is, and this is what happens with a lot of teams that just are not the better team. They just have to shoot the 3 ball and hope variance falls in their favor. So I X'd out Maxie last slate. So that's another guy that I just got rid of and didn't even put him in my pool. I just completely X'd him out. And I guess it's not working. It's not working the way I want it to right now because I didn't run enough teams. So let me go back and I'm going to run a bigger pool size. That way it works a little better. And I'm going to run 20 teams. And again, you could put so many different things in this. One thing I like to do too, that I can show you when we kind of like run teams in the, what's it called? When we do like the next run, but I like to run like with 3 uniques on just to see like what is different that's popping from like the cash stuff to the new stuff. So yeah, we'll look at that. Let it run for a little bit here. And again, if you guys got questions, definitely fire them into the chat. Happy to ask that. Travis in the chat says he hasn't even attempted 20 field goal attempts since he got to Miami. I think you're talking about Harden because, but yeah, he had 23 field goal attempts at Houston. So yeah, Harden's not shooting a ton. Obviously no Embiid, that's important, but Harden is not shooting a lot, and it's just basically the way this defense is designed. So yeah, here we go. Now I just ran it and didn't run away X out. Sorry, I have to go back. Let me go to the home page. I got to run it again. I want to X the guys out that I really don't want to play. So the 2 guys I didn't want to play last slate, and it might be similar here on this slate coming up, but I wanted to X out Harden, so I got rid of him. Completely X'd him. Maxie Cleaver, I X'd him. Those were 2 guys I just didn't want to have on my teams. Big T talks about this a lot. Get rid of guys that you don't want to have. Go up on the guys you like, down on the guys you don't want to have. Booker was another guy that I liked a lot. Reason why is, let's sort by shooting guard, right? And at the shooting guard position, it's obviously not showing all of them, but it's literally only showing the shooting guards that are like actually like projected for like a decent projection and like are actual viable options. So Harden, I did not like. Booker, I liked a lot. Brunson, didn't like him. Hero, I was like, man, like that price tag at 6'8". I did not love that tag. I understood he could get there, but I didn't love it. Max Struss, you can play him at small forward, but I like putting him, I think you could put him at shooting guard, but I like putting him at small forward just because I felt like I wanted to get Booker in there for the raw points. Spencer Dinwiddie, I didn't hate him, and Reggie Bullock was another guy I was like, it's fine if he's the last guy in, but not guys I'm prioritizing. And Oladipo is someone that I wish I would have upped his projection a little bit. I thought he wasn't a bad play. He popped, I remember when I looked, he popped on like a couple teams when I ran some unique stuff, but overall, I didn't like shooting guard. So I made sure to bump Booker just to make sure it like got him in there a little bit. So I'll put him up to 44 for now. Point guard was another one. I knew I was just going to probably play Luka, so I wasn't too worried about it. I did like Maxie's price at 7-1, but I just didn't get there. I really wanted to have Bam. I just thought him against DeAndre Jordan is just too easy of a matchup. In the chat, someone says, let's see, Danny Green, I saw. Ayton and Danny Green are locks tonight. So Danny Green, never a lock. I'll at least say that. I agree with the chat on that one. Reason why Danny Green is never a lock. I mean, I don't know what he is on this slate. Last slate, he was 4.4K, but he wasn't a lock last slate. I don't think he'll be a lock this one, unless his price is like an egregious price tag. It's like 3.3 or something just wild that he shouldn't be there. Ayton, he's an interesting one because Ayton was really terrible last game. He sunk a lot of lineups for sure. But so I X'd a lot of the guys that I didn't want to have. Now let's run this stuff so you guys can see kind of what pops out on my end. Because again, Harden was on 20% of the teams and Maxie Cleaver was on like 80%. So I do expect Maxie Cleaver to not be obviously, he's going to have like a replacement at that forward position, and then I assume Harden will be replaced by a lot of Booker. I think that's going to be what you guys will see there. And let's see. So, yeah, a lot of PJ Tucker. Dorian Finney-Smith is in there. And this one team is still kind of at the top. I think this one's been up there. Actually, no, this was a different one because I think Bridges is in there. But, yeah, obviously you can see when you run that, now I get rid of a lot of the guys. And looking at this, this is what I like to go through and see who's in here. Is there anyone I like really don't want to play? And then I start to kick them out. Like Danny Green, let's say I think he's a terrible play. Well, if he's on 40% of the teams and I don't like Danny Green, as I'm sifting through the 20 teams to pick like my favorite team, if I'm like a 1 lineup guy or 3 lineup guy, as I'm sifting through them, if I see a Danny Green team, I'm already just going to like keep going past it. So instead of that, I just like to X him out if that's the case. But see Oladipo, he popped up on some of the teams. When you got rid of Maxie Cleaver, you needed other values to pop in. Paul Reed's another one that I like that I ended up playing a little bit of. He did okay. He didn't get there the way I wanted him to. DeAndre Jordan just played a little bit too many minutes, which was frustrating. All right, so let's go to a couple of the chat questions here. Paul and Booker, you say, Jonathan, are cheap on DK. Yeah, we're going to go to that here shortly to look at that. Definitely want to see what their price tags are. And we can compare it to last slate. And the one reason I like going through these teams right now and just like giving it a look, and hopefully you guys are looking at them now too. Like, for instance, when I X those 2 guys out that I mentioned, the top team is, let's see. And let's do it not by Saber score. I mean, I like Saber score, but I want to just get like the top raw protected one. Okay, so Dinwiddie did pop up in that. So it's Dinwiddie, Struss, Bridges, Tucker, Bam Adebayo, Booker, Dorian Finney-Smith, and Ayton. So yeah, if you look at this here, that's the team that was popping up in there. Which again, decent team. Actual score wasn't great though, but the actual scores were a disaster because look, Dorian Finney-Smith, foul trouble, 6.75. DeAndre Ayton, 11.25. Another thing, if you haven't signed up for SaberSim, this is one thing I like to do. I like to be able to go back and look at like how my teams would have done. I run a bunch of different teams throughout the night. Also, sometimes I go back and I look at stuff and I say, based on what I ran, what do my teams look like? How'd they do? Maybe there was stuff that I was running and I like deviated away from something that I wanted to do. And now I look back and I see that like those teams were way better. Obviously, every single slate is different and it's like sample size and sometimes you just get unlucky, but maybe I catch something that I made a mistake on in my process. And maybe I catch something that I keep doing over and over that might be a mistake by reviewing these teams and looking at this. So I think it's important to do. But yeah, this was a really weird night. There was a lot of bad scores. So yeah, I don't want to like overthink it too much. And it's a tough one to go over and like review because when you got like Dorian Finney-Smith getting 3 fouls and getting 6.75, Ayton with 11.25, really doesn't play much in the second half because he gets in foul trouble. It gets a little difficult. Yeah, we'll definitely look at the Paul and Booker price tag. So remind me to go back to that when we switch over. Ayton was in that foul trouble. He really struggled. And not only that, like McGee wasn't great. If you remember, he kind of got himself into some foul trouble too. And then you saw Bismack Biyombo running around there. So I'm not expecting Bismack Biyombo to be good out of nowhere. Definitely not seeing that. McGee was somehow in the perfect lineup, someone's saying on FanDuel, and probably makes a lot of sense because I think center just dudded pretty hard, and then you needed spend ups at other positions, right? You needed Jimmy Butler probably, you needed Chris Paul, you needed Booker, where naturally on like FanDuel, it just didn't make sense to have another center in there. So that's probably the reason why. Man, we got a lot of Danny Green love in the chat. Danny Green, the man tonight. Remember, it came from me first. So, like, why do you like Danny Green? I'm not saying he's a bad play, but, like, I'm just curious. There's just, like, way more Danny Green love in the chat than I thought there would be today. So, but, yeah, I'm going to, like, switch on over, though, now and kind of show what's going to happen for this slate. We'll kind of look at the some of the salaries, the price tags, and go from there. So let's dive in and do that. Before you guys do, please like, subscribe to the channel. Helps us out a ton over here at Run Pure Sports. Fire away your questions in the chat. We're going to kind of go through and do some process stuff right now, which again, we're going to go through stuff, but projections aren't like accurate right now. Ownership's not accurate, but you can kind of see some of the stuff that I like to look at and do when I build out my lineup. So be sure to do that. Real quick, I'm going to post something and then I'm going to dive in and get this going here. I got to get some of my, I want to put different, I want to like run the projections that I run. I do an aggregate. So I'm going to put that in for now, just so I have something that's like similar to what I do. So yeah, and I'll show you the upload process too. Maybe if you're new to an optimizer, maybe you've never seen this, and that'll be helpful for you. So let's see. I'm going to this. Okay. So if you are going to upload, all you got to do is click the upload button. There's two ways to do uploads. You can upload as CSV entirely if you'd like, which that's perfectly fine to do. All you got to do is put that CSV in there and call it a day. So you upload that CSV and it'll just go, or you can just put the name of the projection. It depends what I do, but I'll just do the name of the projection. It's really easy. Just copy it, you paste it, throw it in there. Boom, you hit save. There you go. It all pops up in there. See how easy that is? Again, if you've never done this, it's a very simple process to do. Hang on. Why is this? I don't know what's happening. The thing is, the plus minus is moving on me when I move my mouse, so I don't know what's happening here. Cool. All right, we're good to go. So I'm going to run this. I'm just going to run the first runs I like to do. I just put it as cash, and I'm just going to run it and just see what the top 20 teams are. I think that's valuable to know what the field's doing, because the field is probably playing pretty similar to this. These are going to be guys that are high owned. Of course, ownership is a valuable tool, but sometimes, like for instance, Maxie Cleaver was a good example. I remember this one. He was projected to be at like 25%. He came in at like 40, 45%, I think it was. And the reason why he came in at a higher percentage was because, well, he was on so many teams. If you look at the top, he's at 90% on the top 20 teams. This is not a dude that's going to be like 15 to 20% owned. He's going to be way higher owned than that. James Harden, he's actually popping in there. And the reason why is I assume it's the salary. I assume he's just like, yeah, he's 9K. Wow. So a lot of price changes. Actually, so that's our run. First team has 5 Sixers, which seems crazy to me. I don't think I'm playing 5 Sixers. Also want to mention, and again, we're going to have this news ahead of time, which is, I'm not trying to go out of my way and say something crazy, but I think Embiid plays. That's my hot take for you. I think he actually ends up playing. I think it makes a lot more sense for him to play. And I think the way he's going about it, saying, oh, I might not play, he looks like more of a hero if they go out and win the game. If he just says he's problem and he's ready to go, everyone just thinks and assumes he's fine. So I'm in the camp of I think Embiid plays. And I thought he was going to play from the start. Like the dude was on Instagram posting the mask. And when I heard he was out yesterday, I was very surprised by that. And then I heard it was more of like he might end up trying to play. So I thought that was really intriguing. Jonathan said role players at home, but I can't trust Danny Green. I agree. I'm definitely in the role players at home narrative. That's like my lean typically. So yeah, maybe it is a Danny Green night. He is 4.1K compared to 4.4K, which is what we saw before. And man, I don't know what's happening here with my my computer is like bugging out on me. So on my mouse, whenever I try to scroll, it does not work. So let me try and refresh the page real quick. This is derailing me for sure. All right, it's loading. Yeah, I don't know why. It's just so weird. It just keeps literally adjusting it. I'm gonna have to just like go from the side. It's a pain, but if I mess up the screen, my bad. So here's some of the price tags. Let's look it up. Let's go to point guard. Luka 11.6, which we've like been paying that tag. It's not a big deal. Harden 9K, which like he's been 9.8 and 9.6. So that is starting to be an interesting price tag. The question is going to be, do you want Booker or Chris Paul or Maxie at 7K, which Maxie at 7K or Harden at 9K, that 2K difference, I'm kind of intrigued by that. So I'm leading the Harden fade still, but it depends on what it does for my lineups. Because if I told you like that 2.6K can be like the difference between like, if you look, Devin Booker is 8.5, right? So if you have this is good. Let's say Kyle Lowry ends up playing. I know like, or any other 6K guy that you'd rather roster. You can go from Luka to Harden to get like a Booker. So it'd be Harden and Booker versus like Luka and Lowry. Well, that's just like a really interesting debate. So those are things that I like to look at. man, it's an interesting price tag there. But these four are definitely guys I'm definitely going to be trying to make some decisions on my lineups. I'm assuming I'm not paying 6.9 for Tyler Hero. I don't know if Lowry's going to play. That's something we'll have to wait on and see. Don't see myself jumping to play him, even if he's in. Dinwiddie's at 5.2, Brunson 6.4. I'm probably not playing Brunson. He has not been great in this series. I don't think this is a good one for him. I don't mind the Dinwiddie tag at 5.2, but maybe I'll slide him in at shooting guard. Again, Harden, shooting guard, 9K. Booker's there, Brunson, a lot of the same guys. Only difference is Max Struss is someone that you can put in there at that price tag. He is on the road, so like a three-point shooter on the road, that sometimes does get me a little concerned. And now he's 5'3". This is like one of the most expensive price tags we've seen on him. So he's someone that's very points dependent. I'm going to think a little bit about Max Struss. He's not someone I'm just going to plug and play. I've been plug and playing him throughout my lineup. So not going to just plug him in there and just move on. I think that's an important thing to know. That price has moved up for sure. Jimmy Butler, 9.3. Point Jimmy on the road too, which I don't know. I kind of like Jimmy being in Philly. He's someone that used to play for Philadelphia, obviously doesn't like that team. I feel like I like him more on the road here than I do at home in this series, just because it's a little harder on the road too against the Sixers team. So feel like he might control the ball a little bit more. So yeah, I don't mind him. He's someone I'm going to look at for sure. Nikail Bridges is 5'9". Like, he was around 6K before, but mainly because we've seen all these other price hikes. Like, and these guys are all in the same bucket, right? Max Struss, now 5'3". Jay Crowder was 4'6", now 5K. Reggie Bullock, he was just 5'2", now he's 5'4". Dorian Finney-Smith, he was 5'6", but now he's 5'5", so he went down. And Bridges was 6K, now he's 5'9". But like, there does feel like a gap between like Bridges and Struss and like Jay Crowder, where like the price tag is getting close enough where I would definitely be considering it a lot. So yeah, and then we got a lot more Danny Green takes in the chat. Danny Green sucks. Vinny says we'll see what happens with Embiid tonight. So far, is he still out? So that could change. And yeah, that's why you got to watch the Up the Lock show. The Up the Lock show with Big T, JSU, Holden. They're breaking down all that news for you, telling you their thought process, what they should do, talking game theory. That's why you got to become a premium member over at Run Pure Sports. So if you're not a member, go sign up right now. It's definitely a valuable thing to do. Let's go over to the power forward now and talk about that before we kind of go through and run everything else again. Geez, my computer. I'm so used to just using the scroll on the mouse, and for some reason, again, I don't know why it keeps zooming in when I do that, but hopefully it stops at some point here soon. Jimmy Butler though, 9.3, pretty good price tag. Again, we talked about it, the small forward position. If he's gonna go off, he's just gonna go off. So I don't mind paying it. Tobias Harris is 7.3, which he was just 7.7. $400 difference. Definitely someone that I'm interested in, just because if you watch that game, a lot of the stuff has been funneled to Harris, and those small ball lineups have helped him a little bit for sure, getting him, it feels like, easier looks when he shoots that mid-range shot. So I like that price tag on Tobias Harris at 7.3. It's something I'm going to consider. Paul Reed's 4.9, like that is starting to get a little pricey. And if you told me Paul Reed's going to play 30 minutes, like I'm in on Paul Reed. Like I would just plug him in if I knew he's going to play a lot. But there is a lot of risk. And if Embiid doesn't play, just don't assume that, DeAndre Jordan sucks and they're going to play Paul Reed. Like it's not happening. Doc is going to play DeAndre Jordan. So I'm not going to force Paul Reed in there. I don't mind him, but yeah, I'm just definitely not going to force it. Maxie at 4.4, PJ Tucker at 4.5, and then Cam Johnson at 4.6. And one trend to notice so far is like, we haven't talked about any guys at the 3K range. We haven't talked about any of them. There is not a lot of value on this slate. It is going to be difficult. Like I talked about guys that like at the top. I like Luka, right? Of course. I think he's a good play. I like getting a Booker or a Paul. Like I like all these guys at the top. They're fun to get into your lineups, but I need some value to do it. Like there isn't a lot. I think PJ Tucker is a decently safe value play that I'll end up going to at 4.5K, but it's pretty frustrating for sure. So yeah, Jonathan said if Lowry plays, he's fading on the Heat value. That is correct. If Lowry plays, a lot of these Heat values take a hit. I think PJ Tucker's still fine as a value, but like all that backcourt guys, Vincent, Struss, they're all going to take some pretty strong hits for sure, and even Tyler Hero. So, and then center, man, Dwight Powell, like I doubt he's not even in here, right? Because his projection is just so low at 12.88. You got Maxie, you got Paul Reed, Ayton, and Bam. So, and when you sort by all, and this is probably interesting to do. Let's sort by all and let's scroll down. There's not one guy in the 3K range that is a viable value based on the projection I have in, it seems like. Like, yeah, of course, if you bump up DeAndre Jordan from 13 to 20, yeah, then he popped this great value. Oladipo's another guy. Like, I don't agree with this projection on him right now. The 12.2, the price has gone up at 4.8, but like, this is clearly a series for Oladipo, in my opinion. Like, Oladipo has been pretty good. So, yeah, I'm in the camp of that. Oladipo is someone that I want to consider more. And sorry, I keep zooming in. I don't know why it keeps doing this. It's very frustrating. Oh, Josh brought up Bertans. That's a good one. We should talk about him a little bit. Let me pull up on Popcorn before we kind of run stuff one more time. I don't know what is going on with my computer. It is doing some like the weirdest stuff. Like, what is happening? Sorry. I literally went in to try and look at Popcorn Machine. It just is clicking all the wrong buttons. I don't know. Maybe I just can't do this while I'm screen sharing. It could be that some of these buttons I can't click. I'm not sure. But what I wanted to look at was Bertans' minutes and what he did. But it's okay. I can't look that up right now. So let's just run the teams. Let's do that. Because, again, I don't know what's happening on my computer. It's being very odd. Cool. So we'll go to tournaments because I'm sure a lot of you are playing tournaments. We ran this stuff before. And when we ran it, let's go back and look at it before we go and run the tournament stuff. So when we go to the cash stuff that we ran, this was just all, again, straight projections. We saw Harden popped up a lot, right? Harden was definitely someone that we liked as a play. It was definitely someone you wanted to get in there. Jeez, I don't know what – my computer is being so weird right now, man. I do not understand it. Here, let's try this. I'm going to stop screen sharing, and I'm going to re-screen share because I don't know – whenever I click, all the buttons I click on screen share, it's really crazy. All the buttons I click, they all do different things. I don't know what is happening. So we do not have Simon here today. This was working out a lot easier before, but let's try it again. We're going to go back to the screen share and give that a shot. Cool. Yeah, I don't know what's happening, but we'll try and get this ran here. So I'm just going to do a run. Let's do the tournament run like I was talking about. GPP. Zoom it out a little bit. We'll go for more of like the 3-entry max because that's kind of some of the stuff I play. Well, I don't play. I play the $200 3-entry max. I play that 555, but I play like the smaller field tournament. So when you do that, I'm going to put it here at the 101 to 1,000. Put the amount of lineups. We'll put like 20 lineups. I don't do this in NBA. You don't have to worry about it because it doesn't happen. But it's like a sport like golf. Like one time I put the min salary at 4,700 and I left it there and it didn't work out for my week. What is happening? I don't know. Let's just run it. I don't want to click too many things because for some reason my computer is being weird. But let's run it all. Brittany says 1835 for Bertans. Thank you. So that some of it is foul trouble, right? I do truly think the lineups they want to play. I think what they really want to do is they want to go. What's it called? Dorian Finney-Smith at the 5. And they want to play a lot of that. They want to play Reggie Bullock is going to play a pile of minutes and just shoot that 3 ball while because Luka just wants to drive to the hoop and have space. He wants to have space down low to be able to drive and then penetrate and kick it out to the guys for 3. So that's the setup I think they're going to have. I think Dinwiddie is in play. Look at that. Joel Embiid has cleared concussion protocol and participated in shoot-around Friday. Still officially remains out, but still could be upgraded. I'm telling you guys he's playing. Because, again, this is kind of nice for Embiid. He can come in and look. It's a great narrative. He can come in and look like a hero, right? And he saved the series. Or if not, he's the guy that just came out and wasn't even originally going to play. And now if it doesn't work out and they're down 3-0, it's like, well, Embiid was hurt. It plays the narrative so well. Vinny in the chat, we'll see what Big T says later. Yeah, Big T will definitely be giving, his takes on the premium side, so be sure to check that out. Air City, I'm a little confident in campaign too. For some reason, again, my screen share is being, or not just my screen share, my computer is being really odd, so I can't pull up too many different things. But here's the first team that pops up when you do the GPP runs: Maxie, Harden, Green, Harris, Bam, Dinwiddie, Reed, and Maxie. Again, I don't like Harden today. So this is what I would do now. I'm just going to kick Harden now. So he's out the pool. We're going to say see you later to James Harden. And now new teams pop up. So who else are some other guys that I don't like that I want to kick out? Let's see. Tobias Harris, Maxie. Yeah, I'm fine with these guys. I don't have any super strong takes. If I do think the Mavs go small ball, I don't think Brunson's the worst play, but I prefer going Dinwiddie over Brunson. I just don't see that big of a difference between them where I'm just going to kick Brunson out because I really don't want much of him. He's on 50% of the teams. And I know it'll happen. When I'm scrolling through these teams like this, if I see Brunson, I'm just going to keep moving on. So I don't want to do that. So I'm just going to kick him out instantly. Because again, I don't want guys in my pool that I just don't want. I also don't want to kick too many guys out, right? I got to be a little smart about that. Because sometimes you kick too many guys out and then you're out here playing I don't know, George's Niang or something and doing something stupid. We the people, Embiid upgraded to probable. He was just scared to play in Miami. I don't know if he was scared, man. I mean, he does have a broken orbital. I think it's just one of those things where it made sense to give him the time off, and we'll see how he plays. He has that best up thumb, too. I mean, he's definitely not in the best shape. So, yeah, Dinwiddie's popping on a ton of teams, which I like this spot a lot for Dinwiddie. I think he's going to be a pretty good play. First team that shows up goes, I mean, this is a little too much for me. 4 Sixers and 4 Mavericks. Let's say Embiid doesn't play. This is still I don't like this setup. I want a better mix. I'm not happy with what's there. Maxie, Dinwiddie, Danny Green, Tucker. Yeah, I mean, I don't hate this team. This setup's not bad. Again, it's a lot of Sixers though. The prices are good on them though. That's the one thing that worth calling out. They did move their price tags down a bunch where these guys are going to pop a lot more. If you saw the last couple slates, Miami Heat guys were popping up way, way more. So because those Miami Heat guys were popping, I think people are used to that. And seeing the Sixers guys, it's a little more uncomfortable, especially when, yeah, they could win this game, but there's a chance they lose. And I like to roster more guys from the winning team, if that makes sense. That's kind of how I look at it sometimes. If I think Boston's going to win, if I thought Boston was going to beat the Bucks the other night, I kind of wanted to lean a little heavier on the Boston side for sure. Land in the chat, might be a crazy take, but if Embiid plays, what about a lineup with Yurt 7 if you're putting 150? So, Lando, I talked about this before, and we can just look at it real quick. Look at all the guys that are in the pool right now when I ran these 20 teams. There's no 3K guys. And Big T talks about it a lot. When you can find that unowned 3K value that does well, or just gets you enough to get there, and he's a 3K guy. If he busts, it's not the end of the world with some of these other values. I mean, look at this team I'm staring at right now. The values we got are Danny Green, PJ Tucker, and Maxie Cleaver. Are you scared of any of those dudes breaking the slate on you? No, I'm not. So creating your own value plays, Landa, I don't hate it. It's definitely something we should be doing today, I think, and considering. And that's something I'm going to go through and consider as well. I got to look at the slate a little bit more to kind of figure that out. But I like to figure out what the field is doing first. That way, if I know what the field's doing, now I know where to make my change if I don't like something. For instance, if I don't like James Harden, and let's say I think the value plays on the slate are fine. Well, now I know my big decision point, because Harden's on a lot of teams and I don't like him, is figuring out what to do at the top. I don't feel like I have to change my guys at the bottom and my guys at the top. I like to first find out where is my biggest decision point. And right now the two questions I'm having are, where are the value plays? Who on earth am I going to play as value? And then my second one is, which stud do I like? Because there's a lot up top, like I said before. And yeah, I feel good about maybe getting off of Harden. I just don't think it's my favorite play. And I'm curious to hear JSU talk about this on the Up the Lock show, because I feel like he discusses this a lot. But these mid-tier builds, they're just these stud builds just might not be worth it. Maybe it's just Luka and a lot of mid-tier. That might be a better route to go today. Let's look at the first team and just see. It was Luka, and then it was mid-tier, kind of. I mean, I guess there's two value plays in here, Maxie and Danny Green. It doesn't throw in that other one. I guess Paul Reed is one too. So, but it's still going the mid-tier guys like Maxie and Harris. If you look, Maxie, he's on 85% of the teams. Harris on 80% of the teams. They're on more teams than Luka. And the reason why they're on more teams than Luka right now at this time is because Luka is just he's so expensive, and there's no value plays to go along with it. That's the key. That's why it's tough. And of course, if we have Embiid in there, well, now that's going to hurt a lot of the mid-tier value. It's going to hurt Maxie. It's going to hurt Tobias Harris. And yeah, their price tags have gone down, but we're not going to have any value on this slate, guys. This is going to be a very difficult one. Feel free to create your own value plays and have a little fun with it. I don't think it's the worst idea to go through and do. We can kind of go through it together after I kind of finish talking about some of these teams here and figure out what values could be interesting. But yeah, I'm going to keep scrolling through some teams. This Kyle Lowry team, I'm just going to kick Lowry out the pool because, like, I don't, oh, man, I just messed everything up. Hang on. Yeah, I just messed everything up. That is annoying. I don't know why my computer's being so weird, man. Hang on, let it load. Hopefully it just goes right back to it. Vinny said, fade Harden time again. Mid-tier builds are working in the playoffs. The other night with the same slate, you had fade Bam and Luka. Paul was the play lastly. Vinny, I'm with you, but the problem is when we unlock, what's it called? When we unlock Embiid in there, like, who are you playing on the Sixers now in, like, the mid-tier builds? Like, it just, I don't know, man. It's going to be interesting if Embiid plays. Like, I don't know what value plays we're going to play today. Like, it's going to be very hard. I think Oladipo is probably the guy. Like, I know he's like a road player or a role player on the road, but I think Oladipo's role is legit. And it feels a little bit of a chase, but I really do like his role here. But yeah, so Maxie, Harden, they're both kicked out. We're going to take them out the pool again like I did on the last one, just because I reran this all. You got Harris, Dinwiddie, Paul Reed, and Paul Reed's popping a ton. It's pretty crazy. I'm just going to kick Paul Reed out for the sake of, I feel like Embiid's playing. So I just want to see what it does when we kick him out too, even though I think he's like a good play. All right, when you do that, all right, let's sort through some of these teams. Oh, it kept, yeah, I don't know why it's keeping Paul Reed in there. Let's go back and do it again one more time. Sorry. Yeah, Jacob, I'm with you. I would not be playing Lowry. Reason why I wouldn't play Lowry is they have no incentive to push him, and he's 6.1K. I just don't think it's worth it. I think it's a bad idea. Jimmy going to go off first game in Philly with Embiid being close back. So, Adam, here's the thing about Jimmy. I like Jimmy a lot, and I think he can score on anyone, of course. But, like, the one thing that is unfortunate for Jimmy is he has to deal with Embiid now down low, right? Like, Embiid down low can cause a lot of issues. Like, Jimmy needs to be able to finish at the rim. He's not a three-point shooter. He hit that midi decently, but yeah, Jimmy likes to finish at the rim, and that is going to be a lot more difficult with DeAndre Jordan not being there, right? And it being Embiid. It's definitely not going to be easier for them to do. So yeah, let's see. It's just what we're gonna do. We're gonna stop screen sharing. I'm gonna answer your guys' questions, and we just talk about this slate for like the last, like, I don't know, like 5-10 minutes or however long we go. We'll just talk about it. But I want to talk about the values because again, I think it's a good idea to discuss on this slate. So I'm pulling it up now on my end. That way we can kind of discuss it a bit. And again, fire your questions. We can talk about this. I think Luka will play tonight. I don't think I want to play Lowry. Yeah, I think Luka's a great play. The problem is, who are you playing with Luka? That's the real key. I have no idea who I would want to play with him. It does not make a lot of sense to me. So, or sorry, I shouldn't say that. I don't know what the values are going to be, right? That's just going to be the difficult part about it. Who on earth are you going to plug in as a value play? That's just the massive struggle that we're going to have on this slate. So, yeah. Value plays could be Oladipo and Payne. Payne might get more minutes. I agree with you on that. I mean, it's hard. It's really, really hard not to like, a guy like Cam, just like a cheap punt option today to be able to help get in guys in your lineup. So Cam Payne he's 3.5K. So, I mean, that's a nice price tag on Payne. Here's his production for the first 2 games. 12 minutes, 12 fantasy points, 19 minutes, 20.25. Here's the reason he got the 19 minutes from that game before. It was a blowout. So he played that whole fourth quarter. So if you go to Popcorn Machine, you can look at that. And can he get there in those 12 minutes? Yeah, he can. That's the one thing that's at least nice about him. Like, one thing that sucks about playing Georges Niang is, well, Georges Niang isn't a fantasy point per minute producer. Well, at least if Payne plays 12 minutes, probably gets you at least double-digit fantasy points, which he should at least play a little bit, which is good. Yeah, Payne was chalk. And, like, Jonathan, I don't know about him, like, busting for sure. Like, for instance, this slate's value is really terrible. Like, at 3.4K, would you sign up for 12 fantasy points right now? Like, at 3.4? I maybe would, like, as crazy as that sounds, just because of, like, how bad some of these values are. And, like, I know what I'm saying is, like, a disgusting statement, but it's, like, it is kind of true. I don't know if I would for sure sign up for it. I probably wouldn't sign up for it. But, I think Payne doesn't have like as bad of a floor as you think compared to some of these other values. I mean, Danny Green, we know how bad he can be. Yeah, if Lowry plays, I won't like Oladipo. That's a terrible idea. Definitely won't be doing that. It'll hurt his role. So that is actually an important thing to note. Oladipo played 28 minutes, 27 minutes in the first 2 games. Finally got double-digit shot attempts. He shot pretty well from 3, which helped him out too. But I do think that Victor Oladipo, if there's no Lowry, is a good play. Korkmaz is a good one to discuss. Let's talk about him a little bit. He's 3.4K. Played 18 minutes, 10 minutes. 18 of those minutes, probably like 5 or 6 of them. And you can pull it up on Popcorn if you want. I just can't pull it up right now because I don't know why my computer is being very strange. I think 5 or 6 of those minutes, and maybe even a little more, were because of that fourth quarter where he got like a lot of good run. I do think they need him more in this series, but with Embiid back, how much more are they really going to run Korkmaz out there if he is back? That's just the real key. But again, I think we do have to create some of our own values today. Like, I think it's a good to look at these. And when you're kind of talking about them, maybe you are going to find some plays that are not the best. Bertans, 19 minutes, got 16 fantasy points, shot 3 for 7 from 3. I do think some of his minutes and production came because Dorian Finney-Smith got in foul trouble. I do think they would rather play more Dorian Finney-Smith at the 5 and Maxie Cleaver. I think they're going to start with Powell. Then they're going to shift to playing Maxie Cleaver at the 5, and then they're going to shift to playing more DFS at the 5. And then they're going to hope that he stays out of foul trouble, and that way they can run that more in the second half. So Jimmy Butler plays bad, Oladipo will go off. I don't know what you mean by that. Bad. Jimmy Butler plays bad. Oh, sorry, no comment. Jimmy Butler plays bad, Oladipo will go off. Well, last game they both went off. So I mean, I think both things can happen. Also keep in mind, it's a 2-game slate. Big T said this on the premium show recently. I remember him saying it, and it's like, I think it was when you played the Boston guys. Like, you can play 5 Boston guys. And the reason why is we're playing a 2-game slate. It's not like every DFS slate. This is not a 6-gamer where you have all these different games and all these different combinations that can pop up. It is only a 2-game slate. So I think that's important to mention. Guys, if you could like and subscribe to the video, it helps us out a ton. I'll run through the schedule one more time for the day. We got the Swing for the Fences show coming up at 4:45, so be sure to check that out, free on the YouTube channel. 6 o'clock, Big T, he will be live with JSU Holden. They'll be talking about tonight's slate for DFS perspective for NBA, so you want to check that out. Then after that, we got the round 3 PGA Showdown, so be sure to tune into that. You're obviously starting the cut today, so get in that Discord chat. I'm sure you guys are having a fun time with that. Vinny brought up an interesting point. Josh Green may be interesting. Let's talk about Josh Green. So he definitely got in because of the foul trouble. And, of course, my computer's being annoying again. Shocker. I'm just so used to typing in names. Let's find Josh Green manually. Let's see. Is he shooting guard eligible? Let's see. Gosh, I'm having trouble finding it. Let's sort by Dallas. Josh Green. There he is. 3K. So he's played 10 and 12 minutes. So here's the thing about Josh Green. Let's at least call this out. The dude is not a fantasy point per minute producer. He's a 3-and-D guy, stand in the corner. I would need a lot of minutes from Josh Green. That's the problem. This is why I don't mind Campaign to like a Josh Green, because when Campaign is on the court, what does he do? He produces almost a fantasy point per minute. Josh Green ain't going to do that. That is the huge issue with a guy like Josh Green. So again, when we're coming up with these values, and just like kind of trying to find something that like maybe the optimizer can't, you're going to have some dud like ideas. And I think that's a dud idea. Let's think about Trey. Is Trey Burke at all going to? Nah. So he's a guy that's at least like a producer. Like when he gets on the court, he produces minutes. If he somehow played like 15 minutes, I would be in. I don't think he's going to though, because he's Trey Burke and he'll get cooked on defense. So it just won't work out. I really like Dinwiddie. I think this is a good series for Dinwiddie. Shot 3 for 10. 2 for 5 from 3. It's just like 28 minutes was good. I really think it's a good Dinwiddie spot. Like I feel very confident that like at 5.2, and I know it's not like a cheap value, but at 5.2, I think he's someone that can explode for a big game, especially being at home. We get these role players back at home. Like maybe I lean on some of these Dallas guys there with that narrative a little bit. Alfonso says, Mangone, Danny Green is the best value on the board. Yeah, I mean, maybe. Again, I mean, values aren't great today. He shot 1 for 10. He probably does shoot better at home. I am with you on that. He's going to shoot probably better than 1 for 10 and 1 from 9 from 3. I do think you got to consider Danny Green. The only thing I'll say is Alfonso is how excited are you about Danny Green at like 60%? Like, this is a better question. Actually, I want you to answer this in the chat for me. I really want to hear your answer. What ownership percentage in tournaments would you say I don't want to play Danny Green? Is it 20%? Is it 40, 60, 80, or 100? What is your number? Like, you tell me. If you're going to tell me Danny Green is 100% owned or 90% owned, I'm not playing Danny Green. I'm sorry. I'm just not playing him in tournaments. It makes no sense. So this is the question I like to ask myself process-wise. I think it's important. What percentage are you going to play Danny Green at? Like, if it's going to be 20%, yeah, I like Danny Green as a value. I think it's a good play. If it's 80%, you can all play him. Like, that's it. Like, you can play him. I'm not playing him. Yeah, there it is, Jonathan. Chalk Danny Green, where Big T at with that fade. That's something to ask him on the Up to Lock show. That's why you got to tune into the Danny Green show. We've talked so much about this guy. That's why I have to tune into the Up to Lock show. Like, I don't know if you're a premium subscriber, Alfonso, but you know what happened the other day? Big T on the Up to Lock show, he did the Derek White fade. And what did Derek White do? He wasn't very good, and he was very high owned, and it was a massive edge on the field that helped out a ton. So, yeah, Big Grip says Green 29%. Yeah, I just want to know, like, what, and I think this is a good process question. I already said it, but like, what, and maybe you guys are delayed, and that's why I haven't seen it yet, but what percentage does Danny Green have to be at for you to fade him? Like, if he's like 50% or more, like, I'm out. Like, I don't think I want to do it. Like, it, and who knows? The value is really bad on this slate. Like, let's at least call that out. It's not a good slate for value, but like, it's just, I want to know what the percentage you guys would have it at, because I think that's important. But the on the flip side, another good thing to ask is, if you're not playing Danny Green, what value player are you playing? Like, it's just, they're not great. So it's going to lean more towards that mid-tier builds. And the problem is, let's say that the mid-tier builds are the way you want to go, and Embiid's in. You've lost Maxie. Maxie, like Tyrese Maxey. You've lost Tobias Harris. They're not as good of plays at 7K and 7.3 with Embiid in. I think Maxey is still okay at 7K, but it's going to destroy Tobias Harris's usage. It's going to destroy his rebound rate. It's just that mid-tier build gets hurt a lot if Embiid happens to be in. So there's a lot of news that we're still waiting on, of course. That's very important too. But I really like Oladipo. I'm assuming Kyle Lowry sits. I think Oladipo is going to be a good value at 4.8 that I'm going to like kind of put in there. I wonder where Cam Johnson's minutes have been okay. He had foul trouble too last game. I think Cam Johnson's a value that you could put in there at 4.6 that I like a little bit. The 3K values, though, man, they just might not be worth it today. I don't know. JaVale McGee is 3.2. Let's look at center real quick. Just because if center's bad, maybe you just punt it all the way to JaVale McGee and hope to grab like the fantasy point per minute production, right? I mean, 12.75. I don't know. Especially if Dallas tries to play small and like, I don't know. Suns are still just going to play big, I think. I don't think they're going to go to their small ball lineups that much, especially with the way these guys have been fouled so much. So, Andre, you said ESPN is reporting Embiid out. So, Andre, I'm going to just read you the most recent update that we got very recently. Also, don't always trust your ESPN source. It's not the best. The best sources to use would be Underdog or Fantasy Labs. But Underdog's the better one. I have both notifications on because just in case I miss something, they pop up. But Underdog said, Joel Embiid, orbital, has been cleared for concussion protocol and participated in shoot-around Friday. Still officially remains listed as out, but could still be upgraded. There's a chance he's playing. And the reason why I think he's playing, Andre, is it fits the narrative better for Embiid to just be like, oh, you know, I wasn't going to play, and then I like game time decision, and then he just hops in and plays, and he becomes the hero. And if they lose, it's whatever, because he's Joel Embiid just came out there and battled through everything and tried to play. I think he's playing. If I could wager right now on Joel Embiid playing tonight, I would wager on it. If I could find a sports book that has that, I definitely would. And you know what I can do? I can just bet on the Sixers to win the game, which I might do that. Another thing I might do instead, which I think this is a way you can do it sports betting wise, if you're not comfortable, maybe you watch the first couple minutes and see how Embiid looks. Yes, you might lose a little bit of value on the line that you might want, but it might be worth it to me. I want to see what the actual line is. I haven't dug through that. And I was going to bet the Sixers yesterday. But when I heard Embiid was like maybe out, I was like, I want to wait on this a little bit to kind of make my wager. But I really want to jump on the Sixers in this spot. I think they win this game if Embiid plays. So that's kind of my take on that. We didn't talk that much about DeAndre Ayton at 7'6", but he only played 18 minutes last game. Obviously, if he plays 33 and he's 7'6" and people don't go back to him, he's probably going to be a good play. So I don't want to ignore him. And you know who also might be a worse play, especially if Embiid's in? Bam Adebayo. Like, I'm not playing 8.1K Bam Adebayo today, which, like, one thing just to call out a little bit on this slate, which is like something I'm going to think about when I build out my teams. Look for minutes. Make sure you're not plugging in too many guys that can just like only play like 12 minutes or like, like don't plug in Maxie Cleaver and like maybe like Maxie Cleaver campaign and like another like value that like you're uncertain on. Be a little smart about like your minutes tonight. I think that's important. You want guys that are just going to be on the court. So, and if that requires sacrificing in a spot, it might be worth it. So just think about it when you kind of do your 2v2s and 3v3s. Vinny says the question is if Embiid plays, will he be on a minutes restriction? I don't think he will. No, he won't be on any minutes restriction, man. He'll play for the most part. Like worst case, he'll get his 30. I think he's fine. If you guys have any other final questions, fire them in the chat. We've been talking for 50 minutes, and I've been talking for 50 minutes without anyone else, which I can talk a lot. It's definitely something I'm able to do, but it can get difficult going the full hour. But we're powering through it. Let me go through the last couple things with this week, and then we'll answer the last couple questions, and then we'll get on out of here. So tonight, like I said, MLB Swing for the Fences show. Be sure to check that out. Got the Up the Lock show with Big T. If you're not a Run Pure Sports member, go subscribe now. It's definitely a great site to be at. If you're a sports fan, this is the place to be. We have every single sport. Showdown tonight, golf, 9 p.m. Be sure to check that out. Then tomorrow, MMA show. We'll have an NBA show for you as well. And then we'll have a round 4 showdown show for the Sunday slate. And then Sunday, we got a NBA show. We'll have an MLB Swing for the Fences show. That's 10 a.m., 11 a.m., 12 o'clock on the Run Pure Bets YouTube channel. What will we have? We will have a MLB betting show for you. And then 1 p.m., we'll have the NASCAR show on the Run Pure Sports channel. So you got to go over to the YouTube channels and subscribe. That way you get notified when we go live. I don't think I see too many other questions in the chat. I'm going to make one more scroll up and see if I missed anything. I see them on Crowder. I doubt Crowder will do what he did last game. I agree. I don't think Crowder does what he did last game, but like, listen, Jay Crowder's at least going to play minutes. Like, he's going to get you 30 minutes. And like at 5K, if you told me Jay Crowder at 5K is going to get me, I mean, these are the games. He's at 27.5 and 33.25. If Jay Crowder gets me 24, which is worse than what he's done so far, and I get it, he could shoot 1 for 7. Don't get me wrong, but I would sign up for that. I mean, it's a really bad slate for value, guys. It's not going to be easy. You're going to see a really low scoring slate tonight. So, Jay Crowder at 5K. I'm definitely going to like him. He's going to be one of those safe plays to maybe plug in there. There's some Bertans stuff. We talked about Bertans a little bit. See if I'm missing anything else. Yeah, we didn't talk about that Chris Paul and Devin Booker price tag from before. We talked a little bit about it, 8.5 and 8.3. My lean is Booker likely, and the reason why it's Booker is he's just shooting guard eligible. I don't like a lot of shooting guards. I do like Dinwiddie a little bit, so maybe I plug him in there where it won't matter. But if you don't like the shooting guard position or like maybe you don't like the point guard position, if you don't like that spot, I don't think it's a big difference where I would just lean whichever one makes the most sense for my like construction or build. Let's see. Danny Green, Depot, McGee, value plays, rough slate. Yeah, I agree. It's a rough slate. Vinny, you'll be at the MLB NBA show. We will definitely see you there. I don't think I'm on any of those shows. You'll be with the other crew though, and they will be bringing you the winners. Coach J 41 DFS says playoffs. You need minutes. I agree. Tonight's a good slate. Just like, hey, I need minutes. Go grab the minutes. Minutes equal money. Call it a day. But that's going to wrap it up for me. I'm going to call it a day. It was fun hanging out with you guys. Let me know your feedback on if you like this. I'll have Simon next week to do some more screen shares maybe and be a little better. I am going to be traveling next week, so it might be a little tougher than me. I won't be on my normal setup, but we'll still be here, 5 days of the week, 11 a.m. So be sure to join us for that. Be sure to join for all the other shows. Subscribe and like to the channel. We appreciate it. And that's going to wrap it up for me, guys. Thanks a lot for joining. See you later.